From Montgomery to Hill, Green County and Paris, Portia taking on the Blackbelt, and she ain't scared. Marengo County, something county, Will Cops and Barber, interviewing everybody, sister, brothers, and mamas. It's Portia.
But we're glad that you are on the show. Thank you so much. Hey, tonight's show, everybody, is talking to a chiropractor. We got to take care of our health. That's something that I've ignored for a while. Now that I'm older, I'm being more cautious about what I do and frequent doctor visits and things like that. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Gloria Stone-Uzbek. I'm originally from Selma, Alabama. I currently practice in Wilmington, Delaware. My practice name is Vintage Chiropractic. And I see people with different ailments, whether it's, the basic neck pain, low back pain, and all that stuff. But I also see people as a wellness, preventative method of care. People who don't want to wait until they're in pain, they come to see me just to make sure that everything is aligned properly so that they don't run into issues later on. Okay.
Now, tell us how you got into this field. How did you get in this field?
To be honest, when I decided to go to chiropractic school, I actually was working as a microbiologist for a pharmaceutical company. I didn't really know much about chiropractic. And so it was one of my professors from Miles that mentioned going to chiropractic school to me. And so he kind of put me in contact with the recruiter, and I did a tour of the campus. I shadowed a few different doctors, and that's how I got into to chiropractic.
Okay. Now, if most people think that you guys are the accident doctor,
right?
You are the doctor that you go to when you have an accident.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us how that is not accurate.
So there are so many subspecialties under the chiropractic umbrella. You have some chiropractors that work with kids and pregnant women and help women with infertility issues. You have people that focus on, neurology and brain function and different things of that nature.
Under the chiropractic, right?
You have some doctors that focus, they only want to work with, auto accident, workers' comp cases. But at the end of the day, everybody is doing about the same thing, which is checking the spine, making sure the spine is, aligned properly, and making sure that your brain is effectively communicating with the rest of the body, making sure that there's no neurological dysfunction. So they're just making sure that everything is aligned properly and working properly.
All right. Now, one of the things that you helped me know when I first moved to the mountains, I was having severe sinus problems.
Mm-hmm.
And you suggested that I go to chiropractic. I was like, I thought chiropractic for cracking your back. I didn't know it was about, I didn't know that it was about, what you told me to go as far as sinus adjustment and, and how good I feel like I got to go back. Like, tell people why it's not just about that one side of thing that we've all been taught about what you guys do.
Because a lot of people don't realize that the bones in your face can also shift as well. So we not only make sure that the spine is together, but we also can check, different joints in the body. And the adjustment that you're referring to is the actual sinus adjustment. And so that's when we actually adjust the bones right in here just to kind of open up your sinus region so that you can breathe better.
Okay. And what exactly, breathing better as it relates to people that suffer with sinus, why is that so important to get that done?
Because, a lot of people already have different issues and sensitivities, already as it is. Mm-hmm. So when we, check the sinuses and make sure that, your sinuses are adjusted, sometimes I check the ears of my patients And I can adjust their ears as well. And that kind of helps, you know, drain some fluid that may be on the ears if they're having like chronic sinus infections or ear infections and different things of that nature. So I'll adjust, you know, their ears and I'll check the back of their head to make sure that the occiput, which is the base of the skull here, I'll make sure that it's not shifting to one side versus the other. So it's just different approaches that we take just to make sure that you're functioning at your most optimum potential.
Okay. When you're thinking about functionality, most people feel like, you know, you do very cute videos. A lot of videos talks about how chiropractic can help if you're married, you know, how it can help your love life. If you are, you know, the proper way to sleep. I love sleeping on my stomach. I've learned now that's not the proper way to sleep. Like,
yeah, we're gonna stop it.
What are some things that people may do? And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. She'll definitely ask it. What are some things, the basic things that people would do on a daily basis that a chiropractor can help them with, and that they may not be aware of?
Okay, the biggest thing I see, one of the biggest things is for men, and they put these really, really thick wallets in their back pocket, and then they sit down on them. And so what that does is you're sitting, like just say you're sitting in your car and your hips are like this. And so you're doing this every single day. You're sticking that wallet in your back pocket and then you sit down, whether it's, you know, in your car or at work or anything like that. And it's throwing their pelvis off. So when it throws your pelvis off, then the low back starts to follow.
Wow.
So that's why, you know, when they come in, the first thing I do when I have them lay face down is I check their feet to see if their feet is, you know, level or if it's misaligned slightly, because that'll let me know either there are issues either with the pelvis or with the knees or with the low back. Yeah. So that's how I start my approach.
Now let me ask you, why are doctors intimidated by chiropractic?
I don't know if I would say doctors are intimidated, but it's been a long history of chiropractors and medical doctors kind of bumping heads and not really getting along. In the past, when chiropractic was kind of first founded, they actually jailed chiropractors for practicing medicine without a license. So they considered adjusting the spine practicing medicine without a license. And then even further to that, you know, at one point, of course, you know, Black people weren't allowed to be chiropractors. And so we had to actually go off and start our own chiropractic college because we weren't allowed to attend their chiropractic schools. Wow. So it's a lot of, you know, background to that.
Wow. I didn't know that until today. So if on a daily basis, I like my, you know, just because of you, I go to my chiropractor and it does help me out a lot. I feel better. But some people that have gone, they feel like that after so many times that they don't feel like they have to go back. How frequent should people go to a chiropractor?
Well, that's a tricky question because, you know, everybody is different and everybody's body is different and they respond differently to the adjustments. You have some people that, you know, when they come in, they're able to hold their adjustments longer and they don't need to be adjusted as frequently. But then you have, you know, somebody who has a very strenuous job or they had a very traumatic past with a lot of injuries and falls and, you know, just a lot of stuff, you know, whether they had a childbirth go wrong or, you know, it could be anything. So it's kind of hard to compare one person to the next and say like, okay, well, you only need to come like 8 times or you only need to come 12. So we try to tailor that per person.
Okay. You have a question from Tamara Kenny.
Yes.
And she says, I'm not trying to be funny, but if you have a big rear end, how does that affect your spine alignment?
So people with a bigger butt,
My mom,
we tend to have a deeper curve in the low back. So we call it a hyperlordosis. And sometimes that can cause, issues later on. And then also your sleeping habits and positioning of your body as well could also affect your low back pain too. So just say if you have a really, really big butt and then you're sleeping on your back, there's a big gap between the bed and your lower back, if that makes sense.
okay.
So you have to do other things like maybe put a pillow underneath your low back or put a pillow underneath your knees to kind of lift your knees up to flatten the low back out.
Or for your stomach.
No. You're going to have more low back pain if you sleep on your stomach.
My mom said that's why she has to wear heels all the time. Deandra said that she wished more insurance paid for. How can one get their insurance company to increase their payment for their business, or could they get extra insurance? I know I got what's that card I told you I had? A medical credit card that I could just use.
Yeah, like a HSA.
Yeah.
The biggest, okay, I'm going to say this, Portia, because a lot of people don't understand this. When you get your insurance or you choose, whether you're choosing your insurance plan or you're just getting it from your job, you have to check your benefits for various services, whether it's chiropractic, whether it's your medical doctor, whether you need like a mammogram, whatever it is that you need. Check to see what your insurance covers, because we run into this a lot because we have people that don't really understand how insurance works because insurance is so complicated. And they think just because they have insurance, they automatically assume that all the services that they want, whether it's dental or whatever, is included in there, and it's not. So I definitely want to encourage you to check up on your insurance and see what your insurance covers. And then on top of that, people with insurance sometimes often have a super high deductible.
Mm-hmm.
So just say if you wanted to treat for anything, we'll just say chiropractic, you want to treat for chiropractic, and then you have a $5,000 deductible. Well, your insurance is not going to pay me anything until your deductible has been met.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So I would have to charge you their maximum reimbursement rate. So whatever the contractual agreement I have with that insurance company, that's when I have to charge you.
Well, okay. Well, I need to go pay my chiropractor. I owe him $29. But the good news, it goes towards my deductible. Okay. Yeah. Tamara says I sleep with my knees up mostly. Is that good for her? Now, first of all,
she's talking about on the side with the knee propped up.
What you mean sleep with your knees up, Tamara? Wait a minute now.
She's laying on her stomach with that one knee cocked to the side.
She said, Tamara said you have to get a referral and get pre-certified for the service.
Is she asking me that, or is she saying for her insurance she has to have her?
I don't know. Are you asking her that? We'll come back to that.
I'm going to say this real quick. For most insurances, no. You could just call your chiropractor. But certain policies through Aetna, you have to get a pre-certification. But, we can handle that aspect of it.
Okay. She said on my back. That's what she said. Are you saying, she said she sleep with her knees up. Wait a minute.
I got a picture.
First of all, what is going on here? I didn't even.
Oh, does she mean like propped up with her feet flat and knees bent?
Are you talking about propped up with your knees flat and knees bent, Tamara? Okay. She said what you just explained is her insurance. That's how her insurance works. Okay. Yeah, that was her insurance. Answer that question. All right. So going back to what you were saying as it relates to. Okay, let me take this down. Okay. Going back to what you were saying, she said yes.
Okay.
Oh, and my mom said some insurance company require pre-certification.
Yeah, like Aetna, yeah.
DeAndrea says, I went to one for a back and pelvis pain, but it was too much out of pocket before I can even get an adjustment.
Yep. Some people, some practices do offer, you know, so some people offer like a package of adjustments, and they're like, okay, this is your plan, this is how much it's going to be, you know, this is how much you have to pay. So you just have to find, I would say, don't give up. There are other chiropractors. There are like a lot of chiropractors in your area. Unless you're in Selma, then you don't have too many options. So don't
you to come out. Just keep telling.
No, I'm good, but don't give up. If there's a chiropractor that is too expensive, you know, or out of your budget, I would say, you know, continue to look for an office that would allow you to pay per visit, or work with you, because there are some plans like we call Chiro Health USA that allows us to legally discount care, but the patient would have to sign up through their company. It's like a $30 or $40 fee for the year. You just it pays for the whole year, and then it allows the chiropractor to legally discount their adjustment rates for you. So I would say keep looking in your area, see if you can find another chiropractor that you can actually afford, and that would be willing to work with you.
All right. So we have okay, hold on. All right. I'm fat, you know, and I started losing weight. You know, I started doing the little weight loss thing. I'm proud of myself. 18.6 pounds.
Hey.
I'm very happy about that. And but I go to the gym and I do the bike and I start doing this little calypso thing. But I can't, you know, I got elliptus, whatever it is. I just got to build myself up on it. But as a person that is overweight, that don't go to a chiropractor, especially those individuals who sit a lot and things like that, what you do or what chiropractors can do to help us, especially those who started the journey of losing weight.
So do you mean in reference to like aches and pains that they're having, or just weight?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first I would say, if you weigh a certain amount and you're trying to lose weight, I would recommend water resistant exercises.
Okay.
They're better on your joints. You don't have to worry about like trying to like, you know, put a lot of weight on your knees or on your ankles and stuff like that, because that can cause aches and pains too. So I would definitely say look into like your local YMCA, because sometimes they have classes and stuff like that. And you can do like water exercises. A lot of people look at me and they're like, "Oh, you're so small." I'm like 5'6" 3/4. And you know, and they look at me and they think, "Oh, how you gonna adjust me?" It's mostly the men, you know, they come in with their egos and they like 6'5", and they're like, you know, and they're like, "How you gonna adjust me?" I can adjust you. Okay. I don't care how big, how small. I can adjust you, you know, and a lot of people, they don't understand. A lot of people, when they think about chiropractic, they just think about like, oh, you're going to crack my neck or crack my back. Yeah. But we have other techniques. So many techniques within chiropractic that you can do without all the twisting, the turning, the popping. You know, a lot of people don't like to hear that sound. Yeah. So, you know, if you're afraid of seeking chiropractic because of this, I would say don't. Just find somebody that does different techniques that you may be more comfortable with that can help you.
I was at Mrs. Stewart. Hey, that Mrs. Stewart, Gloria. Hey, Mrs. Stewart. He said, go, gal. Sharon, Lord have mercy. The only thing Geraldine doesn't have is a cat. Sharon, I'm skipping your comment. Hey, Trivia. She taking the beater. All right, DeAndre comes back with, What exercises can you do if your pelvis has shifted? Oh, that's a good question. I can't sleep without Lycodot, lidocaine, patch. Lidocaine, patch. You know I'm slow. Go ahead.
Okay, so so most people that have pain in the pelvis, if they can't get to me right away, I recommend them first doing stretches. And a lot of people, they don't stretch their glutes. So if you're sitting down, you're at a computer, you know, or even if you're standing for long periods of time, all day, you want to stretch. A lot of people don't stretch. Stretching is more important than actually the exercise that you're doing when you go to the gym. So I would recommend that you do low back stretches. I would recommend that you stretch your glutes out, your hamstrings, because if there's a muscular imbalance, it can pull things out of alignment as well. I would recommend if you have a tennis ball, so you take the tennis ball, and depending on where the area is that's bothering you, you put the tennis ball on the pelvis and you kind of press up against the wall, and you can kind of roll back and forth over the area. So you can either do it on the wall, or you can put it on the floor, you know, lay on the floor, put the ball between you and the floor, and kind of roll over it. Another good thing is a foam roller. So that helps as well. So the biggest thing would be, I would say, stretching. So that's the biggest thing. And you can Google, you can go on YouTube and look up, you know, low back stretches or glute stretches for your butt.
All right, Ms. Stewart spoke back. Tamara comes back with a question. She said, are low impact exercise okay? There's no pool around here and 30 minutes from a gym with one.
Yes, yes. I definitely encourage you to exercise. But like I said, as you're exercising, just try to focus on your body. A lot of people are not in tune with their bodies. So I would say, you know, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, but you're aware of when you have an ache and a pain. A lot of people, when they have aches and pains, they kind of brush it off and be like, oh, you know, it's okay, I can work through it, and then they'll go away. But then when it comes back, it's more intense. So don't ignore that. Don't just kind of push it off as nothing, because it is something. And a lot of times by the time they come to the chiropractor, they want us to kind of piece them back together with one chiropractic visit. And this has been going on for years, you know. But yeah, definitely low impact exercises are really, really great. Just do, you know, depending on where you are, just do whatever you can. You know, just take it easy. Make sure you're, you know, using the correct form when you're doing these exercises, because you don't want to further injure yourself.
All right. Deandra said thanks about you answering a question.
You're welcome.
Back with a question. She says, "What about yoga?"
Yoga is really good. I love yoga.
Okay. Here goes Sharon. Lord help her. Ask her if she can move to Geraldine. No, Sharon. I've been trying to get her back to Alabama. She don't want to come yet.
I tried, Portia. Nobody wanted to hire me down there.
Here you come. Tamara said, okay. Ms. Ada David has a question for you. She said, why is it that Blue Cross Blue Shield would not pay for a chiropractor unless you have been in an accident? You can't go like you can a general doctor. Well, I don't know what you can say, but I know I do, Miss Ada. I go there, I find me a chiropractor. Sharon, what's that chiropractor name in Rainsville? But I go to him. That's why I told Gloria I owe him $29. I gotta go at. But maybe you can answer that.
Yeah, well, where I live, and it's different, and that's the thing, it's different with every state,
right.
And it's also different with every plan that you have. So it's not that Blue Cross Blue Shield may not pay for a chiropractor. It may be your specific plan that you have may not have the chiropractic coverage. Here in Delaware, the Blue Cross Blue Shield, most of my school teachers have Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the federal employees have Blue Cross Blue Shield. And they typically cover about 30 chiropractic visits. And for my teachers, their copay is like $4 and something. It's like really cheap.
Okay.
Their copay is like $4 to $5 a visit, or depending on, you know, what I do.
All right. Yeah, Blue Cross. Our plan covers it, and it pays for hours, and that's Dr. Terrell. Yvonne Walker, she says, will massage therapy help a client to hold an adjustment longer?
Yes, and I do always recommend a lot of my patients to my friend who's a licensed massage therapist, because a lot of people, they don't take care of the musculature. And that goes back to the stretching and stuff that I was telling you about as well. But massage really, really works out the kinks and the knots and the trigger points in the muscles. And when you're doing that along with chiropractic care, it helps you to hold your adjustments much longer.
Okay. Bond is a chiropractor. For those of you in the black belt, I'm sorry, it's a massage therapist. I'm sorry. It's a massage therapist in the black belt. The name of her company is Renewed Therapy. You can go on Facebook, since you guys are on Facebook watching. Go to her page, RENU Therapy.
That is awesome.
And she has her own massage therapist. Bill, you go in, be all serene and all that stuff. Lavender and all that. She used to be a sponsor of the show before Facebook to her other page. Now, but we gonna stay focused. We gonna stay focused. Miss Ada Davis says, "Okay, thanks." All right.
You're welcome.
All right. So, Gloria, before we end here tonight, I appreciate you doing. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to shoot it out there. What is the overall thing that people need to know about chiropractic before you leave, to not be afraid to use it for different parts of it? How important is it for, because you mentioned several times, the awareness of our bodies?
Yes.
How important is that, and how can what chiropractor was, good chiropractors, what they do, how can that help us in our daily life? Okay,
so the first misconception that I want to address is that most people think that if I go to it's a couple. The first one is, if a chiropractor adjusts me, it can cause a stroke. If they adjust my neck, it can cause a stroke.
Oh, wow.
That is not true.
Right.
Okay. There is not one scientific research article that can link strokes to chiropractic care. And even if you pull up an article, and if you look all the way down to the end of the article, it will say that it is inconclusive. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to address, because a lot of people, they try to scare you with that so that you don't go see a chiropractor so that they can keep you on medications for the rest of your life. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, a lot of people feel that once you go to a chiropractor, you got to go for the rest of your life. I hear that all the time. That's not true. Okay, people don't come to chiropractors because they have to come. People come because they want to get better and that they realize the benefits of chiropractic care. And so they want to come and be proactive and use it as more of a maintenance phase of care. So people don't come because they have to, they come because they want to. And they see the benefits, they feel the benefits, and they see how it drastically, I can't talk today, how it drastically improves their health. Okay. So like I said, do not be afraid of chiropractic. It is a very gentle, specific approach to care without the use of medications. And that's been the biggest issue, is that the opioid epidemic has been getting out of control and people are getting addicted to these pain pill medications. Right. So chiropractic care has been able to help patients who don't want to be on drugs for the rest of their lives. So I've had people that have been in my office and they come in and they can barely walk. They can't stand up straight. And after a few chiropractic adjustments, they were, able to walk. So, when I see stuff like that and I hear, the various things that people say or the misconceptions they try to put out about, chiropractic, it makes me sad, So I would say, just like with any other doctor, you want to read their reviews. Okay, because just every doctor is not a good doctor. And that's whether it's a medical doctor, a chiropractor, it doesn't matter. So check these chiropractors out, read the reviews, read what people are saying. If they adjust you and they really hurt you, do not go back to them. Find somebody else. Don't let them keep hurting you. So, but yeah, that's my recommendation. And that's what I would say if somebody was interested or afraid of, seeking out chiropractic care.
All right, so you got, hey, I think Gloria did knock down all the lists. Anything, I've never heard of the stroke one before, but I have heard.
Oh my God, Portia, just Google it. It's the first thing.
Well, I definitely appreciate you having you in my life because it definitely helped me, and I appreciate that. Shannon, I'm glad she came on in before we ended. But Shannon, she said, I just went to a chiropractor on Tuesday for an assessment, and I had no idea my muscles were so tense, and I had some misalignments. I went to therapy a couple of years ago for the left side of my neck. I found out in assessment that my range of motion is worse on the right side now. What does that actually mean?
Her body was compensating. So when she first went for therapy, because the left side of her neck was hurting, it could have been already dysfunctional on the right. But you got to think about it. If a certain part of your body is hurting, what are you going to do? You're going to try to not use it as much, not try to turn as much, So what that does is it makes the other side have to work a little bit harder. And so that's what was happening. Her body was compensating for the injury. And it could have been like a crick in her neck, or it could have been, how she slept with her pillows, or she fell asleep on the couch. It could have been anything. And her body just compensated for that. And the thing is, when you go to therapy, a lot of people don't do, they try to do manipulation, but it's not chiropractic care. Yeah. But when they go to therapy, they just address the tight musculature. But many times it's because there's a misalignment going on in that spine and they never address it. So they can work with the muscles all. It's like a Band-Aid. You're putting a Band-Aid over it, but you're not getting to the root cause of the problem. And so I think that's what happened in her case. They just kept putting the Band-Aid over it, stretching it out, putting heat, putting ultrasound, putting all this stuff, but they never actually adjusted her neck. So, yeah.
That happened. Okay, I'm just no shade. All right, so if everybody has their questions in, if you want to get in, I'll talk for a few more minutes. For those of you who are joining in tonight. So if you have a young person that's watching this and they see you tonight and they say, "Oh, I want to do that," how can they start? What do they have to take in school? What do they have to major in? What would be your suggestions for this? Would your suggestion be to do chiropractic work, or would your suggestion be to go in the medical field? Like, what would you say to a young person that look at you tonight and say that this is something that I may be interested in?
Ooh. Okay, so in most states, you have to have a bachelor's degree in order to practice as well. So I have a bachelor's in biology. And then I enrolled into the Doctor of Chiropractic program. So it is a doctorate level program. So you need your 4 years for your bachelor's, and then the chiropractic school was 4 years. So that was 8 years.
Yeah.
So in the last year, you have to do, it's not a residency, but you have to do an internship in an actual practice before you graduate.
Oh, wow.
To someone who is interested in going to chiropractic care, I'm going to be real with you. It's a tough profession. You have to consider all the aspects of it. So you have to think about it. Are you a business owner? Do you have that mentality? Or would you want to work for somebody for the rest of your life? You have to look at your debt to income ratio. If you go to school, you're going to rack up $200,000 in debt. Are you ready? Are you ready for that? Is this profession going to support your ability to pay that back? I would say that working for somebody else is going to be difficult to put a dent in a $250,000 student loan.
Wow.
Because the amount that they start you off when you're working for somebody doesn't equate to the amount of debt that you had to go into. So the debt to income ratio is too high. So I would definitely say if there's something you want to do, the only way that you can really truly be successful is if you're working for yourself.
Wow.
There are associate positions that may offer you $90,000 to $100,000, but you're going to be working a lot. You're going to be seeing a lot of patients to make that type of money. So, you know, versus if you had your own practice, you have the flexibility to do, you know, nutrition, weight loss. You can do, you know, it's so many other things that you can include in your umbrella to generate additional income. So I would definitely say, you know, keep that in mind. But if they have any questions and it's something they're interested in, then let me know and I can put them in contact with the right people.
All right. So I want to thank Deborah Shepard, Yvonne, Shannon, Trivia, Nikki, Brianna, Deandra, Sherry, Pam, and Mr. Stewart still sticking in there for sticking with us tonight. I appreciate that. Shannon said that's exactly what the chiropractor said on Tuesday. Gloria has my attention. Where's it located? Oh, Delaware. Need to be in Alabama. Say it one more time. She said, but that's exactly what the chiropractor said. Tell people how they can find you, Gloria.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Gloria.
Wait a minute, I gotta type it in there. At Dr.
Gloria Stone. It's in my maiden name.
And this is your Instagram?
My Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And my Facebook is Dr. Gloria Stone-Uzbek. So I always try to put inspirational stuff, videos, different things like that on my page as well, nutrition stuff. When I'm doing community events, different things of that nature as well.
Okay, so you guys heard how you guys can get in touch with her. Sherry said, Geraldine will hire you. I didn't see that Geraldine gonna hire her. First of all, thank you, Ms. Ada Davis. Thank you, Portia, for keeping us informed. Love you. I love you too. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Gloria, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think it was very good. I enjoyed the show. And I hope you guys do too. Make sure you guys share this video. Tell people a lot of questions. I saw a lot of people that tuned in, especially from Miles. So Marlene, thank you guys for tuning in. Is there anything that you want to say? Shout out to your daughter, your husband, anything like that?
Nope.
You better shout out Justin. I know you, Justin.
You're in the next room.
You're so darn crazy. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you have any more questions, she's gonna follow the post, the thread, and you can ask your questions on there, and she'll answer them or whatever. But reach out to her. I'm trying to convince her to come back to the great state of Alabama. Her husband even want to do it because this way it's popping there. But I'm trying to get her to come back to Alabama. Hopefully one day, when she gets where she wants to be, she'll do that. So thank you again, Glow or Die.
Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you next week. Next week, we're working on a big show next week. I can't spoil it, but I got a backup in case the other person something comes up. But I will be posting it, so look out for that. So thank y'all again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next Thursday, 8 p.m. Portia takes on the black belt and beyond.
Yes.
We're going beyond the black belt, but we're also going to try to include so we can better help ourselves. Love you guys. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
From Montgomery to hell.